Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Sorry for the delay, I'm having all kinds of issues this morning, I guess. My Stream Deck software wasn't up, and then I forgot to start the stream for Twitch and all that good stuff. I mean, that's not really that big of a deal, but did delay me for a second there. But anyway, we are here, and what are we doing today? We are just doing a bunch of random stuff to prepare for the next playtest. So the next playtest will be coming hopefully relatively soon, so you can all try it out. And yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff that I need to do to get the playtest really tightened up. That's the main reason why I was spending time reworking the tutorial. But there's a bunch of like unfinished features that need to be cut, and things that need to be polished and tested and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be spending my effort on now. I was originally intending this to be a content development month, but we are going to instead work towards a playtest. So we'll do that, and then we'll return to our regularly scheduled content creation, because I still do want to do a lot of content. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Anyway, you can wishlist Alchemy Mortis on Steam. The link for that is in the description below. You can also support the game on Patreon. If you want to get early access to the playtest, which will be coming up relatively soon, you could subscribe to the supporter tier or the sponsor tier. Both give you early playtest access. You do have to be an active member of the Patreon to get playtest access though, so you might want to wait until I have an official release date for the playtest so you know that you'll be subscribed when that happens. But you can also subscribe at the sponsor tier to get a Steam key for the full game when it launches and your name in the in-game Alchemy Mortis credits. And I also have my Udemy courses. These will teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine. So check those out. Those are linked below as well. Thank you all for your support. It's very much appreciated. And with that, we will go on. Hello, Clickertail. Welcome. Anno the Dev, good to see you. Wanda Studio or Wanda S Standard IO, is that what it is? I have no idea. I'm not a very good programmer, I guess. But welcome. Emerson, hello. Good to see you all. All right, so what are we doing today? I'm in the process of removing elite fights from the game. So for those of you that played the last playtest, one of the difficulty modifiers was that elite fights were added. Those are removed now. So I replaced that with combat encounters are more common. So that means that, yeah, I mean, basically what this does is this changes a flag in the run map generation. This combat max spacing. So there's as part of the map generation, what it does is it enforces that no more than this number of nodes can be not combat nodes in a row. So that basically means the maximum number of upgrade nodes that you can get before you have to fight in combat is 4. And what this new difficulty tier does is it basically knocks that number down. It knocks it down by 1. So the longest streak you can get of non-combat encounters is 3. And that just generally inflates the number of combat encounters in the run. So that replaces the elite fights. And yeah, it should be good. Good morning, the malicious rabbit. Welcome. Good to see you. I also made a bunch of other changes to the map generation. The most interesting one is that when there's a branching path, all of the siblings of the root node of that path are going to be forced to be unique, or they're going to try to be forced unique. So what I mean by that is that this booster has 2 paths going out of it, right? Left and right. Previously, the map generation did not make any consideration as to these branching paths. So it would just randomly choose a node type for this and a node type for this. And so you could end up in a situation where you've got 2 upgrade nodes, right? So like whichever way you go, the only thing that makes the decision more interesting is like, do you want to ultimately go this way or that way, right? But now every time there's a branching path like that, I am forcing the sibling nodes to be unique. So every node at every decision point in terms of your pathing should be different. Then you end up with some interesting decisions here, like there's reagents here. You could either go for the enchant or the shop. And of course, if you go this way, you get an extra booster as well, or you skip that and you go straight to that combat. But yeah, so you're ending up with all these more interesting choices. I don't know why I didn't do that before. But yeah, I was just playing the game and I was like, wait a minute. It feels not so good to have, like if I were to at the shop and both of these were boosters, that would feel like kind of lackluster, right? But now that these are guaranteed to be different from each other, every decision point is actually a decision point, right? Now, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be obvious decisions. Like, I guess depending on what your build is, you're probably going to go for the artifact in this situation rather than the booster, but that's okay. Like, that's part of the natural decision making. That's part of the fact that, you know, some nodes are just more appealing than others, and that's okay. You know, we just control that by changing how rare they are. But yeah. Hello, Mick. Welcome. Was watching some of your videos. Currently very busy working towards my own demo for my game. Do you have some advice as to how refined a demo should be before publishing? I think, it needs to be a good representation of what your game is going to look and feel like and what the main mechanic is, right? I think it would be a mistake. This is what I learned from Gunforged. It would be a mistake to publish a demo with the intention that you're going to get a bunch of feedback and then change a bunch of stuff. I think the demo should be published when you're basically sure that the vast majority of your game in terms of the visual style and the mechanics and everything are set. And of course, you can make changes after publishing the demo in response to feedback. I'm saying don't publish a demo with the main goal of being to get feedback so you can change everything, right? That's what like playtests are for. The demo is basically, it's a demonstration, right? It's basically a marketing tool for you to show people at zero cost to them, here's exactly what the game looks and plays like, and here's exactly how it works. And there's your demonstration. Now give me money, and here's the full game, right? So, but in terms of how polished, yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert on these things. I don't know. But me personally, when I release the Alchemy Mortis demo, it's going to be the most polished and refined. Like, it's basically going to be the final game, just with the content stripped. So I think it needs to make a good first impression. I think it needs to be fun to play. I think it needs to be easy to play. But that's just my own personal opinion. I don't know. And it also depends, like, what kind of demo are you doing? Like, if you just want to throw it up on itch.io to gauge interest, then yeah, like, make it until it's playable and then put it up on itch.io and see what feedback you get. If you mean that kind of demo that's a little bit more scrappy, then that's probably fine. But I guess I'm thinking more of a demo that's going to be used to try to generate like actual like wish lists and sales for your game. Hello, Mel's, welcome back. So in terms of game style, it's quite similar to yours, where it's a roguelike Autobattler with maps of 5 events and PvP battle at the end, then the next map, but the demo is limited to 1 map. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I think... Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of experience with this, so... Yeah. Hello, GD Crazy. Hello, Lukey. I also made a change that should hopefully... It prevents really shallow angles from being at the choke points on the map. So I think this is basically like the maximum angle that can happen. But sometimes we're getting really shallow angles, like sometimes there would be an extra node up here, and then the 2 roads would almost be on top of each other. So I think I've mostly fixed that. I think this is basically like as close as these can be, but that's still a good enough separation. Anyway, that's a little bit of a shallow angle there. I wonder why that's doing that. I would rather this edge not be connected here and get connected there instead. Okay, I'll have to spend some more time on that, but I think overall the map is looking pretty good. It hasn't changed that much since the last playtest, but I did make those improvements that I mentioned. Anyway, hold on, sorry, this is annoying. The newest VS Code update did something that causes my editor to absolutely chug, so I have to, and it of course auto updated this morning. So I am going to reinstall the previous version of VS Code because I cannot deal with that chugaliciousness. I do not like chugging in my software. The only place where I will accept chugging is in my music. Okay. User settings. Can I change update? Extensions. How do I change the update mode? Check for updates online on startup. Okay, let's just do no update mode. I will check for updates manually until this is fixed. Am I missing something, or was it supposed to restart? Is your map intended to be this dark? It looks darker on the YouTube video. People who have played the game don't have any problems with the brightness. Part of it could be what device you're watching on. Like if you're watching on a laptop with the brightness turned down or a mobile device. But, I mean, the background is mostly black, so... Why is VS Code not restarting now? Oh, goodness. Is there a code process in here? Oh, it upped. Okay. Let's go again. Let's go again. If I wanted to learn more about procedural gen path building like this, what resources would you recommend? Yeah, you want to look for... So the things that help for that is Poisson disk sampling, Poisson disk sampling, Delaunay triangulation, and that's basically it. Like, once you have those two things in place, so the Poisson disk generates your node points, the Delaunay triangulation triangulates all the points such that none of the edges intersect with each other, and those can be like your roads or your connections. And then from there, you can basically do whatever rules you want, right? You can prune, you can just remove edges if you want to. Of course, if you want to make sure that your map is perfectly traversable from start to end, what you'll need to do is have a minimum spanning tree. And a minimum spanning tree is basically just a tree where there's a guaranteed minimum path between the start and the end node. And so if you're doing edge pruning, you're removing edges from the graph. As long as you don't remove edges that are in the minimum spanning tree, you'll be guaranteed that that you'll have a path. I actually think, is minimum spanning tree, I forgot exactly if it's just a path from beginning to end, or I think, no, minimum spanning tree makes sure that every node is visitable at least once. I think that's what it is, right? So you construct a minimum spanning tree, it makes sure that all of the nodes are connected in such a way that they can be visited, that no islands are created, and then you can prune edges that are not in the minimum spanning tree. If you do a directed graph like what I'm doing, it's a little bit different. I don't think there's a minimum spanning tree in here anymore. I think with the directed graph, it's just a matter of making sure that each node has at least one incoming connection and one outgoing connection. And I think that's basically it. But yeah, like once you have the edge and vertex data for your graph, you can basically just layer on whatever rules you want to on top of that. And it will work. And then it's just a matter of tweaking it until you get what you want. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a spam call every day at the same time. Where's the banhammer? I got it. VS Code updates are pretty bad. The rendering for terminal is absolutely horrid. Yeah. Oh, there's a clip here. Hello, Suplex. That's a clever name. I don't remember what was I doing that got clipped. I'm actually an AI? All right, let me ban Emerson real quick. Can I warn you? Does that have any... Can I warn you as a meme? Does that have any negative consequences? I'm gonna click it. Sorry, Emerson. Meme. Does that do anything? Does it just send you a private message? Those are big words, Professor. The thing about like computer science theory and everything is like the names are always much more intimidating than what's actually going on. They'll be like, this is the quadruplex desalinator tree of worlds, and it's like a 5-line algorithm, which is pretty easy to understand. Hello, Ninja Link. Good morning. I understood everything. Oh, it was about software chugging. Gotcha. Poisson and what? I'll go back in the vid. Here, I'll put it in the chat. You're on YouTube, so I'll put it in the YouTube chat. It's Poisson disk sampling and Delaunay. I forgot how to spell it. I think it's this. Okay, I put it in the YouTube chat. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm the leader of the VS Code haters. I'll set it in Discord. All right, sounds good. Ones with simpler names like linear programming are so the hardest. Yeah. Isn't there some setting you can enable to only get pop-ups from messages that mention your username? I'm manually toggling the pop-ups. So nothing pops up on screen until I highlight the message. So watch, I'll click Fox Shadow's message right now. Boom, amazing. So no, the chats are not showing up on screen as they come in because that would be annoying. I like to highlight them though while I'm responding to them. So if people are watching the VOD with chat off or the chat replay doesn't work for whatever reason, people know what I'm responding to. Also, it's kind of fun for your messages to show up on screen for everyone, right? Anyway, so we're going to convert this paladin into a boss because he used to be an elite. So we removed the elite system from the game, and this guy is just going to become a normal boss. So let's take a look at what's going on. Enable test player cards, paladin. One of the coolest ways to display chat I've seen. I think so. I definitely think so. I want to, you know what I want to do? I want to make this stream Alchemortis themed. So I want to take the vines from like the unlock screen and use those as the screen borders, and then have the panel art be like what highlights the message. The elite system was removed. Interesting. Yeah, the problem with the elite system is that that's another system that I have to create content for and also balance to make it a compelling choice. And it's like, I was thinking about it and I was like, we're getting close to release. This is another system that I have to balance and create content for. And I don't think it's necessary. Like, I don't really think it adds much to the game. Now, maybe in a future like content patch, I could do that as part of a bigger update. But I think the game as it exists without the elite system is fun enough. You know what I mean? So yeah, kind of at the point where I have to cut content and cut anything that's like half-baked or not really doing much for the game. And I think the elite system was one such thing. So maybe it will come back in the future, but we're just going to repurpose the paladin to be the region 2 boss. I wonder, do I have that configured correctly? Scroll all the way up. Nope. I don't think I have it, maybe I don't have it configured correctly. Let's see. Oh no, I do. There's the paladin. Okay. Heal 18 per negative status. Deal 27 damage, apply 14 holy. Yeah, the paladin definitely needs something a little bit juicier, I think. What do we got going here? I have an idea. Passive crit bonus. We'll give him a passive crit bonus. New non-combat composed ability. So by the way, Ninja Link, we are working towards the next playtest. So right now we're just polishing everything up, cutting content, making sure everything feels nice. I also want to, as a stretch goal before the playtest is ready, try to tighten up and finish the controller support so that you all can try it and let me know what you think. It's not going to be perfect. I don't think the controller support is going to be perfect, but I think it would be really valuable to get your feedback on controller support before I do the demo. I think the way the timeline is going to go is we're going to do another playtest. We'll leave that up for the usual amount of time, you know, a couple weeks. 1 week or so, maybe a little bit less than 1 week for Patreon members, and then around 1 week for everyone else. And then the next major focus after that is going to be putting a demo up on the Steam page. So I basically don't have a lot of time left. Not a lot of time at all to finish this game. Do we want to do, let's do query target provider dot create options. No, what am I doing? Query directions, board inventory component. Query directions dot write. Crit bonus modification is equal to new crit bonus modification. And we're gonna do const int base crit bonus is equal to 4. Var current crit bonus is equal to base crit bonus. Okay, critical bonus modification. Let's just do current crit bonus here. Okay, and then we're gonna do ability configuration. This is, let's just do critical bonus. It doesn't matter what this is called really. Abilities, query target provider, crit bonus modification, scaling func, scalar is equal to ability scalars dot get. Make additive scalar 1. Current crit bonus is equal to scalar base crit bonus tier. And then crit bonus modification dot set scaled magnitude to current crit bonus. Okay. Increase critical bonus of query target provider dot to query string template 0 by that. Okay, this would be query, oh, this needs to be 1. Query target provider dot query options dot limit. Current crit bonus. This would be card paladin crit bonus. Passive critical. Okay, let me rename this. I need to stop abbreviating this. Critical. All right, let's see what that does. Not a fan of overlays myself. Well, I'm not, what I mean with the stream overlay is just like what you see here would just be changed, right? So not like a huge like screen thing. Like the reason, so I've got like the purple bars at the top and the bottom of the screen. The only reason I have that is because I'm cropping out the window title and the Windows taskbar, but that creates a non-16:9 screen, right? So I just center it. Take my elite idea from Discord to something else, then I might do that, yeah. Like the elite ideas could just be bosses, right? If I want to start to make a game and I got very early playtest player, is itch.io okay for that? I think so, yeah. I think Chris Zukowski recommends that, where you have a game idea, you want to judge how well it's going to do commercially. So you throw it up on itch.io, and if you get a positive reception on itch.io, then that's a good indicator that a more fleshed out, more completed game would do well on Steam. So I may actually do that for my next game. I'm not sure exactly, but I might. Crunch time. Does that mean you'll be aiming for less items in the game than you originally predicted? No. So I still want to do close to like 350, 400 items. But that's one of those things where, like, once the demo is ready, then I can take time to add more content, right? So there's like a bunch of work, like quality of life stuff that needs to be done. But then once all that's done and the demo is basically ready, because all the content doesn't need to be in the demo, because I'll be stripping content from the demo anyway. So once the demo is ready, I'll have a good chunk of time to like create much more content. And I'm going to try to create more content here and there as well. But yeah. All right, let's see. Paladin. Increase critical bonus of allied items to the right by 4. Okay, that works. 9-second cooldown. We're going to change that. Let's do 70. Okay, buff Paladin. All right, so that should be fine. Of course, I have to test all this stuff. And now we need to figure out a use for the eyeball. I almost want to make the eyeball one of those gimmick cards again. I guess I'll have to think about that a little bit more. I'll remove that for now. So that's done. Let me do this. Find a use for eyeball item. I think I want to do some kind of like gimmick with the eyeball. Maybe I'll make like a bigger eyeball monster with like eye stalks or something, and then you can get this item somehow from it. Next game, yes indeed. Welcome, Asymmetrics. 354,000 items? No. 350 to 400. 350 to 400. Did my ears deceive me? Yeah, I have another game idea in the works. Not in the works. I haven't done any work on it, but I have a pretty clear idea of what I want to do. So, yeah. But no work on any side projects until Alchemortis is done. All right. Well, what's the next thing we need to do? Replace end run combat log with combat summary. That's going to be important. That's going to be important. End run combat log with combat summary. Maybe we should do that. I do want to add juice, and actually let's do the unlock tree. So add juice to unlock tree. We want to do, oh, we also want to do add unlock point dialogue banner to run overview screen. How does the abandoned run currently work, actually? Add juice. Okay, I'm going to stop bouncing around for a second. So we want to add icons for non-artifact unlocks. We want to do screen shake on unlock. We want to do leaf particles on unlock. What else do we want to do? Maybe some decorative background elements. Okay, so we're going to do this next. I want to check something. When I abandon a run, does that take me to the run overview screen? It does, okay. So basically in here, I'm going to remove, well, typically there's an enemy combat board and then there's like the combat log. The combat log is just a giant stream of text. So I'm going to get rid of that and just put the combat summary, like a button to open the combat summary. So yeah, I think I want to do that. I got to redo the buttons. This screen needs some love. I think it looks okay from the panel perspective. But yeah, anyway, let's not worry about all that just yet. Okay, unlock tree. Unlock tree container. Wait a minute, is there a reason? Is there a reason why the lines aren't showing up? Oh. Why isn't this working? I need to be able to see the lines there. Update line length. I don't know why those lines aren't showing up. Material as shader material. Set shader parameter progress to 1. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. Why isn't this working? Okay, anyway. Build. We'll go to the unlock tree. Smart move, keep scope narrow. I think so. Welcome back. Now to one game at a time. Narrow to one game at a time, yeah. I'm just here to disturb the pot. I know he's locked in. What's the application for to-dos? That's Obsidian with the Kanban plugin. Staring so much at this game, he probably sees the world in witching hour colors at this point. That's probably true. Okay, there we go. So the lines are back, but now I wonder if my animations are going to be incorrect. Nope, it seems okay. Okay, all right. So we're good with that. Find it very easy to develop additional features and tooling, but often struggle making new content. Does anyone experience similar things? Yeah, new content can be hard. I use it to track orders in my woodshop. Cool tool. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I like it mostly because that's like, you know, your data stays all on your drive, so you can, you know, you don't have to worry about it like a monthly subscription or company going under or doing whatever with your data. Anyway, so I want to, what did I want to do? So maybe we should do the icons. Icons for non-artifact unlocks. I need to add a debug way of giving myself unlock points. Also, I need to show the unlock points. Show unlock points on unlock screen. Okay, what are we doing here? This needs to be updated. Okay, anyway. We probably want like a lock state as well. Okay. So there's a lot to do here, but so we've got the bundle. And we also have characters. I need to figure out the tooltip. Why is it doing this? All right, let's go ahead and open up Sprite. See if I can figure out where these assets are. Open file, assets, UI, unlock. Okay, here's our unlock tree. All right, so we need an icon for bundles. And the icons need to be 18 by 18. So I need an icon for bundles. Icon for characters. And those all need to be 18 by 18. All right, so well, I don't even know what I want to do here. Okay. Characters. And bundles. I wonder if doing the bundles as like... do I not have enough room for that? Thinking about doing the bundles as a book, maybe? Although it looks like I don't have quite enough room. Okay, so we've got like a book. Let's just do this. Create some separation here. Actually, this would probably be... Let's just get something very simple down first. Then I'll worry about it later. Okay, so there's that. We can pull this up here. Okay, and then in here, this would be basically white. Then we've got that. Okay, so we've got a little book. Of course, we want to make it look more interesting than that. Yeah, we'll just see how this goes, I suppose. Okay. I'm just stubbing out some art here. That looks decent. Bring this all the way over there. Maybe I do black there. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And then maybe just do something like that. Maybe not that, maybe green. Okay, that could work. Make it look kind of like an old book. Get rid of that. That's a little bit distracting. Basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to give it the impression that this is some kind of like occult alchemy tome. That's basically all I really want to do with this. And so, yeah, I think just, it doesn't really matter what the symbol means. I just want to get the impression there that this is some kind of knowledge hidden within, you know what I mean? I think that looks decent. I wonder, would it be nice to do, oh yeah, put a little bit of highlighting there. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. This section up here is still bothering me a little bit. This one here. Maybe if I just, yeah, if I just bring that dark line all the way through. Yeah, that works. And then here probably needs to go up a little bit as well. And then maybe we do like a red there. Oh yeah. I think it looks pretty decent actually. I'm kind of, I don't know if I really want to mess around with it too much more. Okay. Yeah. I think that works. So this will just sit in here like a little book. And that will be our unlock, right? Why does that look weird? No, I did it correctly. Well, I guess that's fine. That means that I have room to do an outline on it now. Okay, so we want to outline this. So this would be icon, oops. Icon bundle. What the heck? Oops. Okay, we'll make this outlined. And there we go. There's our icon bundle. So now we need an icon for characters as well. You can also upload it to Git. Yes, you can. I have Obsidian for my game in my Git repo. Thank you, Mick. Appreciate that. Hello, Cake Hug. Is the combat board in Obsidian a free plugin? Yes, it is. What's on the agenda today? Right now, I am juicing up the unlock menu a little bit. So yeah. Mayhaps a latch. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. I think it's fine what I have. I don't want to add too much to it, but it's a good suggestion. Actually, I wonder, would it look good if I did something like that? Or is that too much? Oops. Actually, I kind of like that. Okay. All right, so we've got our book. So now we need an icon for the character unlocks. I mean, the classic thing to do would be to have some kind of skull or something, but do I want to do something else? What would be a good icon for a character unlock? What would be a good icon for a character unlock? Hello, Dan. Welcome. What did I miss? Oh, not much. Just pushing towards the next playtest build. Skull key. A skull key is interesting. Double cliche. So I'm trying to think, like, what would be thematic? Like, obviously a skull key could work. Something that indicates that a new character is being added to your roster. I don't really have an existing symbol in the game that means character. A hand springing out of a grave. Oh. I could do... Oh, I know what I could do. I can do a skull with a hood. Duh. I could do a skull with a hood. Right? I've been drawing way too many skulls recently. Somebody's gonna see my work and be like, what the heck? Why is this guy obsessed with drawing skulls? That's not healthy. I think I drew it too small already. Maybe we'll start with the hood instead. Because like most of my characters are hooded. In fact, all of them are except for the paladin, which I may actually change. Maybe the paladin should have a hooded head. Yeah, I don't know about the right half there, but let's just fill this in. Maybe this just needs to come down a little bit. No, I liked it being up that high. Maybe this just needs to come over a little bit more. Now the icon's getting too small, that's the problem. I really don't know what to do about that back part there, but Maybe this won't work. Maybe this won't work. Let's try. That'll work, right? Like asking for help. Hooded Paladin is actually awesome. Art represents how many % from developed time? I don't know. Probably less than half. Now that you're running tighter on time, what are your plans to juice up the boss fight? I recall that being brought up frequently as the last playtest. Well, I think a large part of that is that players just had really powerful builds, which I've nerfed. I don't know if the bosses need to be juiced up. I think the player power needed to be reduced. Because the bosses are relatively powerful. They are big difficulty spikes from a numbers perspective. It's just everyone was using the fairy wings and like destroying everything. But we'll see. The problem is like I can't go too far in juicing up the bosses because like it's an Autobattler, right? Like there's a limited amount that you can do to recover from a bad build while you're in combat. And so if the bosses are just like extra super duper powerful, but then the player has no options to like counter that, I don't think that's gonna work. So the bosses are just like a DPS increase from the enemy side, and then yeah, I don't know what else to do about that. If I make them counter certain builds, then you know, basically what players will have to do is like go and see what the stronghold is. See what boss is at the stronghold, and then they'll have to build around that. But I don't know if I want that to happen either. So yeah, I don't really know what, if anything, there is to do about that. Well, I don't know if this is gonna work. I might have to do something else. One question, what if I manage all the visual stuff for enemies on an inherited scene per enemy and the stats on a separate resource? Also put the enemy scene ref on the resource for the spawners. I mean, that should work. That should work. Interesting, you have very dynamic brush strokes and you do pixel art. I feel like when I do pixel art, I'm very intentional and place individual pixels. Yeah, sometimes I find that when you're just trying to get the shape of something down, sometimes just doing like thick brush strokes and then cutting out, like almost like you're sculpting. But then you can, you know, cut stuff away as you want to. Sometimes that helps. We have like an elongated, flattened skull now. Can kind of make him look a little pathetic. But anyway, sometimes just doing that is better because you can just get more pixels down and then you can kind of get the rough contours of the shape. And then, you could just like kind of sculpt and fill in the individual pixels from there. I think that helps sometimes. I maybe just will go with this hood here. I was thinking if you just did something like Disturbed Mascot, where it's not necessarily the skull, but the dark outline of a skull or just the eyes. Yeah, that could work. Currently the sprites are everything. Currently the sprites and everything are on a resource. And also the sprites frames resource, and it's becoming a mess. That's why I think that each enemy should have its own scene. What do you think? Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't... The way that I did my enemies for Gunforged is that I used composition to design them, and none of the enemy scenes are inherited. So every scene is its own scene, and then I pull out the reusable stuff into components. Because, yeah, you will run into that problem with inheritance, especially for, like, enemy scenes and whatnot. Sorry, I didn't know you were asking specifically about inheritance. Yeah, I try not to use inheritance whenever I can avoid it, because it just becomes a mess in Godot more often than not. Man, I am just not on the ball today as it comes to art. This is not looking good at all. Well, you get that sometimes, I suppose. I don't know, we'll just... Cloth is still one of those things that's like really hard for me to do for some reason. But let's just get some shading down. I was more talking visually to differentiate from normal combats. Oh, visually. Right. That's a good question. I haven't put much thought into that. I mean, what could I do visually? It's not gonna work. I think if I could just get this hood looking decent, I think it would help. That looks kind of cool, actually. Now I have Stricken stuck in my head. Thanks a lot for mentioning Disturbed. Thanks a lot. Actually, this is turning out not to be so bad. That actually doesn't look terrible. Maybe if I put some... Do I want to do that? Maybe. That looks decent. Yeah, I don't have any problems with that, I don't think. And then maybe we want to do some similar over here. Well, the problem with using the black is that it tends to create separation when I don't necessarily want that. I'm just trying to see if any... No, I don't think that's going to really add much. I think this... yeah, this section looks a little weird. That does not look terrible, right? I wonder if it would be worthwhile to bring this up, though, in terms of the... Do I have all my colors here? Yeah. Shading. Yeah, it might be worthwhile to bring that up, and then I can add... I hope that looks enough like a hood. I don't know. We'll see. This is going more and more in the direction of your YouTube profile. We're going full circle, yeah. Yo, you're welcome. Maybe boss fights need their own like thematic background or something to stand out from being just a regular fight with more cards. Yeah. I know there were conversations about the boss spouting a small amount of dialogue during combat, the fortress, going through some kind of kingdom animation, a special combat start animation, bosses getting a special execution, stuff like that. Really anything to make a boss fight feel a little more epic outside of combat mechanics. Okay. Yeah, I can definitely think about doing that stuff. I don't have any ideas right now. I mean, all those are good ideas. Different backgrounds I definitely want to do. I've been meaning to do that for literal like a year. So I just got some very good news via text message. I love when that happens. Excellent. Increase my dopamine even more. Well, we'll just roll with this. Yeah, boss. Now you got me thinking about, like, what can I do for the boss fights? Oh well, I'll figure it out later. Whatever. We'll just roll with that for now. As I continue making changes. Okay, this is icon character. I think I think I like the lighter colors actually, plus it's the same visual importance as the book. Yeah, that's the main reason why I wanted to increase the characters. The colors. The other reason is when these are locked or when these are not unlockable, so they're too far away in the tree, what I'll do is I'll use my palette shader to dim it down to the more muted colors. And that will be the same for the book as well. So these things will become darker when they're not clickable. At least that's the plan. We'll see. Okay, so now I need to add an outline to this guy. Icon character. Add outline. Like a boss showing up, talking smack, then into the battle. Kind of cool idea. Yeah. The other thing I want to do is I still want to do lore for the game somehow. Bosses might be a good way of doing that. I was thinking originally about like tying lore entries to the unlocks, so you get lore revealed as you progress. That might be an easy way of doing it. But honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to have time to do lore. Like proper lore. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it. Okay, icon bundle, icon character, file, export, no, scripts, export layers here. Your constant refocusing on the task at hand is making it very difficult to distract you today. You stop. Yep. Sorry. I'm a bastion of focus and discipline, I guess. Okay. So we've got unlock tree item. Unlock tree container. Unlock tree. Okay. So these unlock trees. Where is the icon actually set up here? Oh, setup icon. Look at that. Wow. So this is where all the icons are set up. Okay. So this should be easy, actually. I think. The Tome DLC that adds lore to the game. Do I watch World Cup? No. No, I do not. Okay, I will be right back in just 3 minutes, and I'm going to take a quick break, and we will continue on. All right. Your favorite niche e-celeb is back. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so we want to change the icons for these things. So card pack unlocked. Okay, so we're going to just do this the easy way. We're just going to do the good old hard code the UID into the code here. So this would be icon character UID. I forgot the string. No, I didn't. I forgot the const. Okay. Private const string icon bundle UID. Okay, so we're going to copy those things. So icon bundle, copy this. Sometimes it's just easier to do this than fudge around with like how to export the thing in the editor and then pass that around. And it's like, the nice thing about the UIDs is that it gives you a little bit more, what the heck? It gives you a little bit more certainty that as long as you don't delete the resource, the UID will always reference it. So you could like move the resource somewhere else, you could edit the resource, whatever, but it's going to keep its UID. So this becomes a lot safer to do versus like doing a path lookup. And actually, I should probably just do private static. I might as well just load the textures. Private static read-only texture 2D icon character. And we'll just do gd.load texture 2D here. Okay. Yeah, that'll be fine. Private static read-only texture 2D icon bundle. Okay, so we've got that. So now when we go to these setup icons, card pack unlock definition resource. So we don't need to do any of this stuff anymore. We just need to say icon.texture is equal to, and actually, let's see. Where's this icon situated? Okay, it's already situated at the correct spot. So icon.texture is equal to icon bundle. We don't even need this anymore. If it's artifact, we want to grab the artifact icon, that's fine. And then for the character unlock definition resource, we don't need to do any of this stuff. Icon clip container. I don't need that either, so we can get rid of that. That is completely unnecessary. Icon clip container. Get rid of that. Okay. Character unlock definition resource. Icon.texture is equal to icon character. And that's it. Okay. I'm gonna swap these around though. We'll put those two first, those icons first, and then the artifact last. And yeah, okay. So let's just take a gander at what that looks like real quick before we go any further on that. Super out of left field question for you. Do you think your Godot courses are still up to date in terms of your approach methods you teach them? Or do you find yourself wanting to update them? No, I think everything that I teach in the course, I'm basically still doing. There are a couple of like details in the course where like, you know, I do something and then I'm like, if I look at it today, I might be like, well, I would have approached it a little bit differently. Because I, you know, like the rest of you, I'm still learning more about Godot and I'm still learning like when to do things certain ways. So, but I think broad strokes, like the overall, like what I'm showing in the Vampire Survivors course, etc., is still the way that I would do things broadly. With the Vampire Survivors specifically, though, I would like to I think it would be useful for that course if it had an additional section on like transferring everything to the rendering and physics servers instead of using nodes, because like the nodes won't support like hundreds of enemies on screen. But that's like the only thing that I can really think of that's like a major thing I would change. Oh goodness. Oh no. Something happened. I hate that. Why does this not work? Does the icon need to be over? Yeah, it needs to be over. Okay. So I moved it over by an additional pixel in both dimensions, right? So that means that for the artifact, offset is -2, -2. I think that's what I need to do. Okay. Oops, wrong scene. Can I run the unlock tree container by itself? Does that work? Oh, it does work. Excellent. Okay. So I think what would be useful in here is to show... I cannot inspect... Why can't I inspect that? Oh, why is that not working? I forgot that there was inspect... Okay, so I need to add inspection prompt to tooltip. Unlock tree. Why can't I inspect that? Oh, that's not good. Inspect requested. Is unlock... Oh, I think I need to do... What is this saying? We're getting the node and we're saying connection set. It's all connections. Connection set.any contains... Oh, so this actually needs to be... If graph node dot incoming connections dot length dot count is equal to 0, we're going to return true. I think I need to do that. There we go. Deep sea bundle. Good. Torture bundle. So you can inspect these things here. So that's a little bit nice. But you're not allowed to inspect things that are... I mean, I don't even know if I should do that. Do I want a generic, like... Well, no, I think... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I keep going back and forth on all this stuff. Sorry. So we want to dim... We want to dim the icons that are not reachable currently. Okay, so how do we want to do that? Add icons for unlock tree. Is unlocked, refresh state. This is probably what I want to do. Set disable outline. So is valid. What does that mean? Is valid is true if it's unlocked or I have unlocked points and it has no incoming connections or it has some unlocked connections. Okay. So in that case... Oh, I am already doing this. If not has some unlocked connections... Why am I dimming the frame? Okay, let me try something. I think this logic is a little bit redundant if I'm not mistaken, but let's just do this. Set dim of icon 2. Let me just see what that does. I actually don't need to be running this scene in particular. I can just run this unlock tree container. Okay. That looks like what I wanted to do. Why does the character still look wrong? Am I changing the icon position somewhere still? Did I do something wrong? Oh, this is 20 by 19. Oh. Oh, because the outline is changing. Oh. That's unfortunate. Well, I'm just gonna make this easier on myself then. I wasn't strict enough with the 18. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Let's change this. We'll make them 20 by 20 instead. Just center that in there. Okay. I'm gonna have to export these manually, unfortunately, but that's okay. What is this one called? Icon bundle. Okay, and then this one is icon character. We'll just export those manually. So now those should both be 20 by 20. So if I put the icon bundle there, that works. Icon character. I think that's right. Yeah. Let me try. I want to reorder this a little bit. I want to move. Oops. I want to move this up. Why is that not working? Because I'm not on the right layer. Move it up a little bit so it's a little bit more centered. I may also want to shift it over so it's centered more properly in the frame. Will that work? Let's see. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay. Now I can center it a little bit nicer. Okay. Cool. So I can still inspect those things. Excellent. So now I need like a debug setting that allows me to unlock things. Or maybe not a setting, maybe just a Boolean flag. Game debug, private static, read only, string name. Actually, maybe I'll just piggyback off of the ignore unlocks flag. Maybe that's what I'll do. So unlock tree. Do I have unlock points remaining? Okay. So this would be has unlock points is equal to game debug.is ignore unlocks enabled, or that. Hello, Kapata Sensei. Dev is going well, thank you. Thank you for asking. Okay, so there's my deep sea bundle. These should not be dimmed that much anymore. Oh, I'm not resetting the dim at all, that's why. So I need to make sure to set the dim state. I need to update the dim state. Okay, so that should be relatively easy to do. Icon.material equals null. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, and then we probably want to, for the tooltip, SFX pass tutorial skull unlock tree. Okay. Still a lot of work to do, but we're gonna get it working. I think this looks great though. Bundle, which bundle? We got the bundle, serpent bundle, cult bundle. Maybe those should be centered. UI is so hard. UI is very difficult. There's no tooltip showing up here either because the singleton tooltip is not available when I'm just running the scene by itself. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break again. And when I come back, we will continue on with this. Sorry, I just got to go take care of something really quick. So BRB. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. So we need to, block the tooltips. We want to say what the item is in the tooltip and also have a little icon so you know kind of what it is. I think I still want to do different frame shapes, at least for the characters, make them like circular or something, I think. But I may do that later. I don't know if it's critical to do for the playtest. Okay. Alrighty. So what can we do about the tooltip? Okay, so we've got the unlock resource, tooltip handler. This is a property, so I should be able to do... Yeah, I should be able to do this. Inside of here, these need to be translated as well. Okay. All right, so maybe we'll just do that work while I'm here. Oh, I'm not localizing the card pack unlock definition resources as well. Okay. All right, we will just worry about that later. Translation string. Bundle. Translation groups UI, private const string, UI, unlock, tooltip header, something like that. Doesn't really matter. So we've got bundle, artifact, character. This would be bundle. So this would be artifact, tooltip header. This would be character, tooltip header. Okay. Var header is equal to is valid question mark tr. Let's do this. This would be tr UI unlock bundle tooltip header. And then we'll do card pack unlock definition resource dot title. This needs to be to do translate. All right. And then otherwise, we are just going to do this. Okay, and then this set body, so this would need to be translation string, UI unlock bundle tooltip body contains 0 new items. Okay. Then in here, what we would do is we would do description utils.format description tr UI unlock bundled tooltip body, and then the args would be dot card IDs dot length. Goodness gracious. And then this header needs to be in here. All right, that one should be good. Artifact. So we'll just do the same thing in here. Header is equal to tr artifact. Oops, changed the wrong thing. Speed artifact unlock definition resource dot localized name. This one should be fine. Oh, dot artifact resource. Artifact dot artifact resource dot localized name. Goodness. Okay, and then this will be, we'll put the header in here. And then we're going to hide if is valid. We'll put the body only if it's valid. Okay, then the same kind of deal here. Character.localized name. Character. Header there. If is valid, then we'll set the body. Okay. So we will tell the player how many items are in the bundle for bundles, but for everything else, we will just leave it empty. Build the translations, then run the game. Bundle deep C, artifact, artifact, artifact. That is not an artifact. Oh, maybe it is an artifact. That's a cloak. Oh, it kind of looks like the character. So that's why the different character shape might be useful. So we need to right click to inspect as well. Okay, anyway, that should be good. Alrighty, so that should be good. What else? We need to add that inspector. Generic tooltip. Add to footer. Create component. Purchase tooltip component. Okay, so let's just duplicate this. Show in file system. Duplicate. This would be inspect component. Right click, label. Oh, this needs to be translated as well. I might as well, can I do that? We'll do that later. We gotta have that localize that text. Ah, goodness. Okay, so we're adding the inspection prompt to the tooltip. So the inspect component, let's copy this UID. Public const string inspect. All right, so then in the unlock tree, if is valid, generic tooltip add to footer tooltip component helper dot create component inspect. Oops. Cool. Let's see if that works. Probably gonna want to do maybe an unlock as well. Okay. I think that seems okay to me for now. Got the whole lich. Yeah, all the character stuff shows up here. Cool. That is not correct. The artifact inspector is not correct. Okay, why is that not correct? Unlock item inspector. Inspector artifact content. Okay. Name label. Let's see. So the name should be appearing now correctly when I open that artifact inspector. There we go. Cool. Unlock tree tooltip. Okay, so that's done. Screen shake on unlock. I actually don't know if I can do that. I might not have screen shake capabilities. Game constants unlock menu UID. This is a canvas layer, so I can actually probably change this. Change it to a shaky canvas layer. Does that work? Can I just build this? I don't know. Where else am I using that? In the event camera, I think. We'll just copy this. Paste as unique there. Okay. Yeah, I don't know actually. Noise speed 800. I'm just gonna copy. So 3.25, 800. I guess that's fine. All right, so now when I unlock something, on clicked, emit signal unlocked. Okay. Where is the unlocked signal being listened to? Unlock tree container. Unlocked. Tree item unlocked. Okay, well, I guess I'll just put it in here then. Emit signal unlocked. So this is going to be a little bit weird, but we're going to do var ancestor unlocks menu. Actually, before I do that, is this in a group? It's not. Okay. Well, we'll just do this. This dot get ancestor unlocks menu. Unlock menu. Okay, we'll call the screen shake on that. So let's see what happens now. Okay. That seems to work. But also unlock tree item, play unlock. So we'll do another shake when it actually plays the unlock. So unlock tree. Okay, well, that seems to work. That seems to work just fine. Cool. All right, screen shake on unlock. That's done. So now I probably want to do, I probably want to do the leaf particles. But anyway, add screen shake. I don't know if I want to do that. Leaf particles on unlock. Show unlock points on unlock screen. So that's probably... I mean, that's probably what I want to do next, is show the unlock points. Yeah, I need some kind of, I don't know, I need some kind of way of showing that. I guess it could just be text up here somewhere. What is that up there? Stop opening VS Code, please. What is that little thing up there? I don't know what that is. Let's go find it. It's the line template. Unlock tree line template is being set to visible for some reason. Why is that happening? So the line template. Oh, it's probably... I know why it's happening. I know why it's happening. Play in. Register unlock tree lines. If line is equal to unlock tree line template. Return, not return, continue. Wonder if there's a better way to do this. Do I need this unlock tree line template anywhere else? No, I don't. So maybe what I'll do instead is I'll just do unlock tree line template dot queue free unlock tree item template dot queue free. I hope that doesn't break anything, but we'll find out if it does. Cool. All right, that's good. Show unlock points on unlock screen. That's definitely something I want to do. I don't know if I want to go that far with this because I have all this other stuff to do as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do here. Probably just figure out how to show the unlock points and then just go from there. Do I want to just put like a... Oh my gosh, that is so annoying. Stop taking my focus, please. Should I just cheat and use a panel header? Add another margin container here. Put the panel header in there. Change this container sizing to shrink begin. Change this margin container. Oh, I also need to make this. Let's just do... Oh, that's interesting. Force past scroll events. Oh. Interesting. I wonder if I can use that. Force past scroll events. Okay. I wonder if I could use that. We'll figure that out. In any case. This may not work that well, but let me just try it. Unlock. Let's just do points remaining, or we could just do points 10, something like that. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work. I might have to do something different. It has to render on top of everything as well. I also probably, or it does follow the screen, so that's good. Challenges. I mean, that might be good as just like a stopgap solution for now. Align it with the button, that might look the best. Now we want to put this there. Actually, that works fine. And then as you scroll, I mean, maybe it feels a little bit off. I could potentially put it on the top of that boundary there. Let's see. Turn that off. Clip contents is on here, which is unfortunate. Why does this have clip contents on? What happens if I disable that? Is that a... Oh, maybe... Yeah, that's probably why. Because those panels are out there. Well, I don't need to have... Let's do this. Let's do a another margin container. Clip container. Mouse filter, ignore. We put those in there, and then we turn this one to clip. And then this panel header can continue to be there. And we just change this back to shrink center. What will that do? Will that look horrendous? Oh yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's just too far up here. What happens if I do the bottom? If we change this to shrink end down there, and then we force that margin container to have negative bottom. What does that look like? Oh wow, that kind of actually slots in there very nicely. What a happy accident. Let's just make it a little bit less down there though. I think that works pretty well actually. Now the one thing that's bothering me is that these are not centered. But I think that's mostly a problem with how I've laid out the icons. See how this part is not lined up with that, so it looks really weird, but that could actually probably go down even more. Let's see. -10. We have to come up with creative solutions for presenting the UI because I can't be spending a bunch of time doing new stuff. Oh, that actually looks really good. I kind of like that, but I am going to knock it down just a little bit more. It looks great. Thank you, H. Dubois. Appreciate that. Hello, Rin. Welcome back. Oops, wrong scene. Honestly, it can probably even go down more. So I was at -16. I'll do -14 now. Yeah, I think that works fine. And that will automatically extend if the language... Well, that might be a problem, actually. Because if I do... Let's just say I repeat points again, make it a little bit longer. Keep running the wrong scene. It gets cut off a little bit right there. So maybe for safety purposes, I should bring it up a little bit more. Just to ensure that it's readable. Yeah. So it will be a problem if it extends to this point. It will get cut off a little bit, but we'll see what happens with the translations, if that's going to be a problem. You know, I can always just put it at the bottom and just be like, you know, I can just do that too, you know, that will work fine. Well, actually, maybe that is just better. Let's see. Margin bottom. If I put it down just a little bit. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, that should be fine. We'll just leave it like that, whatever. Obviously, that needs to actually update when the unlock points change, but do I want to make this longer, like points remaining? Do I want to do something like this? Yeah, I'll have to figure out what the exact text I want to use is, but we'll do something like that. I'm thinking now, like, so what I want to do is display like a very prominent, like, hey, you got some unlock points. In the run overview screen, I may create like a new dialogue for like the challenges that you completed. Yeah, maybe it'll be like a here, I'll just put it in here. Make it a challenge overview dialogue, which shows newly completed challenges at the top, along with partially completed challenges after, then completed final. Okay. Yeah, so I think what I want to do is if you complete a challenge, or maybe it could just be for challenge progress generally. To show all the things that you made progress on. So that might be the next project, because I do want to make it relatively exciting when you finish a run. It could show you all the things that you made progress on, as well as any points that you unlocked. Yo, dog, you got 10 points. That's what I should say. So there's a lot of work to do to get this playtest ready, but yeah, we'll get it done, I suppose. Oh boy. Handle unlocks being applied during a run. Handle unlocks being applied during a run. What does that mean? I guess that means that I can, when I'm in a run, yeah, it lets me do unlocks in a run. So yeah. So the problem is I want the player to be able to unlock things while the run is active. But I don't want that to affect the loot tables and such for the run. But what I may have to do just as a stopgap is just say, oh, you can't unlock things while you're in a run. But the problem though, yeah, I can't do it that way because even if you quit to menu and apply unlocks and then reload your save. So what I need to do, fudge. Shoot, son of a brisket. So characters being unlocked doesn't make a difference, I don't think. Characters being unlocked doesn't make a difference. Actually, you know what? Let me think about this. I may want to do it so that don't add artifacts to loot pool until associated character is unlocked. Might want to do that. I would need to go through and like prioritize everything. Oh, I just had a thought in my mind and I forgot. Oh, right. We got to handle unlocks being applied during a run. So yeah, basically what I'm going to need to do is store a snapshot of which things are unlocked when you start a run. So that way when the run is restored from a save, it reads from that unlock list rather than from the global unlock list. I don't really like that because that's gonna... I mean, the other school of thought is like, maybe it just doesn't matter. Maybe I tolerate a little bit of drift or something. If you unlock stuff while you have a run in progress, maybe I can be tolerant of... Maybe I can be tolerant of, what you call it? The run changing. I'm gonna have to think about that actually. Add progress percent value to challenge progress. Okay. All right. If the unlocks don't affect the current run, but you can do the unlock during the run, does that not feel confusing to the player? I unlocked this, but the game isn't giving it to me sort of thing. Well, the thing is, it's not going to give it to you while you're in the run anyway. The consideration is about reloading the run and having that change your seed. When your run is created, all the loot tables are decided ahead of time. So nothing in your game is going to change when you unlock something. And allowing it to change when you unlock something during a run is just not going to be technically feasible. I mean, of course, everything is possible, but I really don't want to mess with the loot table state after the map has been generated. And so the question at hand is mostly about, like, if you unlock something and then reload your save, is it okay if that changes the loot tables that were generated for your run, or would it be more appropriate to just keep the state that you generated the map in, and then on the next run it applies any unlocks that you have? So it's already the case that unlocking something during a run is not going to change that run. It feels like the easier approach is to let them see their unlocks, but make it so that they can only unlock new things between runs. Yeah, I mean, that is an option. The problem is that even if you're at the main menu, if I quit to menu, so I've saved my game, right? I quit to menu, I go to unlocks here. If I go to the unlock tree and I have points and I try to unlock something, it says, oh, you can't do that because you have a current run, right? It's like, but that doesn't really make sense from a UX perspective. Like, I'm not in a run right now. Why can't I unlock this, right? And it's just because that I have a run that's saved. So I would have to do continue. Like, actually, there's no way to recover from that, actually. Like, the way that this is set up. Because what happens when you click no, you don't want to continue your saved run, it doesn't actually overwrite your data until you actually start. But I can go back and I could say continue, and like that will work, right? So it doesn't actually overwrite your data. So it's actually the case that the only time where you could be truly in between runs is after you've finished or abandoned a run. So it's possible for players to get stuck in a loop where they basically have no opportunities to apply any unlocks because of the way that system works, right? Like, they have a very narrow opportunity which only happens after you lose the run or abandon the run or win the run. And then, yeah. Why is the Hammer of Judgment in here? That doesn't seem correct. A Hammer of Judgment. Did I not tag that correctly? Giant hammer. I did tag it as an enemy. Oh, it's tagged as a player too. Oops. That has to be fixed. Okay. The juice is so high quality now. Thank you, Evan. Yeah, I mean, I think, oh man. If I'm being honest, I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, but that can be solved with some aggressive pruning of the tasks in my backlog. I think what I need to do is I need to go through my to-do list and my backlog, and I need to create a list of items that I know I want to do for the playtest. Show enemy items and unlock. Okay. And a lot of this stuff doesn't have to be done for the playtest, right? Like, this is just long-term stuff. And I think, you know, I have a little bit... Well, no, never mind. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, that's going to be it for the stream for now. I may do a bonus stream later, so join the Discord to be notified when I go live, or if you hit the notification bell on YouTube or follow on Twitch, you'll receive a notification. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Always appreciate you guys being here and chatting with me. Again, the best thing you could do to help me out right now is to wishlist Alcamortis if you haven't already. That would be much appreciated. There are also ways that you could financially support if you want to. You can join the Patreon. Again, the playtest that will be coming up shortly will be available to Patreon members early for usually a week, but sometimes a little bit less than a week, but maybe 4 or 5 days at a minimum. So if you subscribe on Patreon at any tier, you will be eligible for the early playtest period. But then the playtest will open for everyone, so you don't need to pay to get access to the playtest. Like I said, it's probably going to be the last playtest before the demo comes out. So this will probably be one of your last opportunities to provide your feedback about the game, to test all the changes, all of the balance changes that I've made, the way that I've reworked a bunch of systems, the new unlock tree, all that stuff. So yeah, anyway, that's it for now. Have a good day, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye-bye.